We're live.
Welcome everybody. Check out the new setup. Hey, this is all right. Yeah. So guys, welcome to our TGM Lives, officially live. We come to you guys every 2 weeks. I'm super excited about this. My name is Vlad. I'm known as the Abundance Cultivator here, and I'm joined by none other than Braden himself.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? Appreciate you tuning in or watching this after. This is exciting. We live fairly close to each other, so it just made sense to me to hey, we're all about community. Why don't we just come together? And it looks a lot nicer. And then we get to do this, go live, and use all these cool things I have.
Yeah. We're all decked out.
Yeah, we got the swag. It feels good. It feels good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to it though. Financial health.
Yeah.
That's the pillar this month, financial health. And for a lot of guys, that's a tough place. It's almost a taboo topic. We don't really talk about finances culturally, and especially for men, there's that pressure, I think, around providing and there's a lot there to talk about that it's weak if we admit that we're struggling in that, right?
There's a lot of pride when it comes to finances.
A lot of pride, yeah. And it's also Men's Mental Health Month. So more widely, culturally, I should have done some research just quickly to see who actually, inspired this initiative or created this initiative. But I know that November is Men's Mental Health Month. Movember is a big thing all around men's mental health. And so obviously it's really aligned with the work that we're doing here at the Grounded Man. Mental health is one of our pillars. It doesn't work out in our schedule that it aligns to be this month, but they're all very much related, 100%. Right? And mental health is so closely related to financial health. So I'm going to pause there and see what you guys say.
Yeah. For me, it hits home. Actually, hits really close to home because earlier this year, I was sacrificing health, and I actually started developing health issues and things that I was what is this? I've never had this. Things like spot balding that I had, and just my sleep habits were atrocious, and even weight gain. It was just I was what is going on? This is completely out of the norm for me. And it turns out that earlier this year, I was actually in a bad spot financially, where it felt like it was out of control. And I didn't realize just how much of a toll that was taking on me. And then once I started looking into this, and I went to see a couple of experts to see what the hell's going on here, what I was told is this is all excessive stress responses. And so when I really sat with myself and started what is causing all this stress, I realized that, it was my worry around financials. It was out of control, and I didn't know how to deal with everything. And so, but I kept bottling it up. And so when everybody asked me, it was fine, I was good, everything was great, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then, you can only go so long, but eventually the body's going to let you know, hey, this isn't working, right? So it's it's an important piece, right? Because you might think that it's okay to bottle it up and I'll handle it myself, but sometimes anyways, the body's always a good indicator of where you really are. And so for me, it was a wake-up call to be whoa, what is the root cause here? Now, luckily for me, I was able to address it. And it's cool how quickly your body will react, because within a couple of months, I'm back to normal again, and all of that stuff's been sorted. But I think I needed to bring it up, and I needed to address it and talk about it and take action, to allow myself to truly heal.
Yeah. And as I hear that, I think there are, like you said, you're fortunate that you're able to go through that process and then rectify it. I feel like there are a lot of people who don't have that resource available, right? Where they might not actually be able to. And so it's easy to say, just you can shift out of it. But really for some people, the finances can't shift in the reality that they're operating in right now. But I think a big piece that, both you and I talk on is how we relate to that and the stories that we're putting out in that. Because if we're constantly saying like, oh, I'm in lack, and emphasizing that state of stress response that you were experiencing, it's like, yeah, that takes a toll on the body. And that doesn't mean we turn a blind eye to say like, okay, let's pretend stress doesn't exist. But to look at it with a sense of like, optimism almost, right? And how can we create that?
Yeah, for me, it was very much, it's not like the financial situation was bad. Like I was fortunate enough that like, there was money coming in. It's how I was, exactly what you said. It's how I was approaching that money from a mindset perspective, because for me, it was a constant focus on, I need that money to go here. I need it to go there. I need it to be spent here. I need this to be covered. There was no celebration of money coming in. There was no like just taking the time to like process where, like what should be prioritized, what actually aligns to my values. So I was just letting it it was coming in, and I always use that bucket analogy, right? So like how big is the hole in your bucket versus the inflow? Like my hole was literally wide open. So water was coming in and I was just blasting it out, And so I think it's an important piece to just like really sit down, figure out values, and then say, hey, okay, this is where I want my money to go, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that weight, I mean, even as you're speaking that, it brings me back, because my relationship with money has been, it's something that I've been working on for a number of years now. And, I remember the weight of having thousands and thousands, like, upwards of almost $50,000 in debt from, my addictions and drug use and alcohol and partying and all this stuff. And I was carrying that weight of like, oh, this is always there. And eventually like that just got too much. And I had to create a plan. I ended up doing a program, but paying this off over time. And that energy shifted then, because it was like, oh, I see a way out. I see a way out of this. And that can help us build momentum and create that, right? And that's what we're trying to do here, because there's guys at all different levels when it comes to finances. And so to me, the first thing is like, this is a safe space to talk about it. We all have issues. And then the next thing is like, cool, like accept that where we are, and also we're capable of change, right? So now we can take actions to do different things, and that can go as far as like investing eventually, which maybe we'll talk on later, that we got something cool happening with that. But
I think you said something really important there, and it's like having a safe space to talk about it, because we all, like, maybe we don't all struggle with it, but we all deal with it on a day-to-day basis. So it's something communal that we're all involved with, and it shouldn't be hidden. It shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I should be scared of it. And maybe it goes back to the fact that, like, maybe we don't have the financial education that we should have as a society, right? And it is a overwhelming world. Like, there's a lot in it. But I think it's important to, bring up what you're dealing with, be comfortable sharing it, because then you actually invite the world to be able to provide you with help and, give you support where you need it, right? It also allows you to do exactly what you said, is take action on things then, right? Once you know what your problems are and you know where you want to distribute your funds, then you can actually, make sure it aligns to what you want to do, right? So that's that discipline piece, right? Of like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to do. And then actually taking action on it. Right. So.
Yeah. And like all things, it's really not that flashy and exciting.
No.
Right. It's like, coming back to the basics of tracking things, monitoring things, and all these pieces. But, I think the important piece is how much it can impact mental health. It's like, we've got strategies, we've got a free resource available for guys to help them out. There's tons of strategies, books, resources on like the basics of finance. And we're not here to talk about that. It's more like, how does finance relate to self-leadership and, wanting to be in that position of being able to lead from self in your life. And like we touched on, when we're really struggling in this area, and like you said, it's a game that we're all playing. So it's part of life. And right now it gets us our basic needs met. And so that's Maslow's hierarchy, like the basic need for safety and food and water and housing, like all of that comes with money as the vehicle right now. And so it's important to recognize, like, we want to support ourselves and our community to like be able to not live just in survival mode, but to like move up to where we can actually thrive and work on ourselves and do the work that we get to do here, which is a privilege.
Yeah, I think the survival comment is actually quite loud, because a lot of us, it's almost like we look at the paychecks coming in to then get dispersed into the various buckets that they need to be dispersed in. And it's like, are you living to survive, or are you living to actually set up a financial future for yourself? Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important that, well, actually, I'll ask you the question, like, because you said that, you were dealing with debt and stuff, but you're able to come out of it. So what are some of the practices that like you've put forth that really helped you kind of get out of that?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing was like, I didn't have the means or resources to do it myself. So I sought help, and what was available was like a credit consolidation program, which then broke my payments into like monthly payments, which was manageable for me. But then since then, it's like, okay, I had these monthly payments, so now I can start to save. Now I can start to like put money aside, and that's been a whole journey in itself, because it comes and goes and things happen, and it's like, oh, I'm not hitting my goals. But yeah, even just having that regular check-in, and what you just said reminded me too of a habit, that I really try to bring attention to how I feel when I'm doing things, because I know I used to get my paycheck and I felt anxious because there's already money that I had to like give. And then I would look at my bank and be like sad because it was just like X amount and now it's Y amount. And that difference is like, makes me sad. So that was my whole emotional experience. And so now it's like working on taking a moment that like when I know my paycheck comes into my bank to like, just look at that number and sit with it and feel it and be like, oh, wow, thank you for the hours I put in. And take that time and not rush to spend it, but to like hold it for a second, and then spend it. And I try to weave that into a lot of my relationship with finances, so that it feels like a relationship that I'm having with another being. And I know, that hits home for you with a lot of what you talk on.
Yeah. I think that, like, if we're back to mental health, taking that moment to celebrate the sacrifice of time and energy that you did to create financial wealth for yourself, like, that's so overlooked, and yet such a powerful practice. Like, you deserve to be celebrated for what you are bringing in for yourself. Like, you are providing for yourself in today's society. Like, that should be celebrated. So it's like, take a moment for that.
It feels like such a basic thing.
Yeah.
But it really is like when you are like, that's what I realize more and more. It's like, holy shit, man, holding it all together, as a human being, like it's a lot of different skills and pieces that are required. And even the 6 pillars that we break it down into, man, like mastering myself in each of those is an endless journey.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But like, and like, even if we look at it from a relationship perspective, like, are you going to be in a relationship with somebody where you're always going to be like, yeah, take, or are you actually going to take a moment to like celebrate that relationship, right? Money works the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Celebrate the fact that you have it, right? And then from there, like, then distribute those funds the way that you want. One of the easiest tricks that I have for people is like, make yourself. So I'm a big fan of like automating the money that comes in and relocating it to areas that it needs to be addressed. And yes, I have an area for bills, but I also have areas for other things that align to my values. And it's really cool when those accounts get filled up, right? Because you might look at your bank account and go, I only have this much. But then you check out, maybe you want a dream vacation or something, right? And you check out your vacation fund and it's like, yo, I got a couple grand in my vacation for I can actually go on a vacation, right? It's very easy that if you don't manage it and distribute it like that money might get lost elsewhere, right? But when it's automated and it starts to feed these like individual little accounts, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I have enough of that vacation or that thing I want to get, or like there is like it's almost like it rewards you. It's like you're rewarding yourself by doing little things like that. So I find that that's also a very very important practice.
Yeah. Something that I think of with that again is like thinking of all the different guys in the group and just varying places that we might be in that again, like thinking of like, oh wow, look, I have $2,000. I can do a vacation. For some people, they're like, they just shrug that off, like, oh, that's never going to be me. But it's like, what are some of the creative ways you have gone outside of your work to make money? Like using your time and not just being in what you do, but following some of your other passions and bringing in like revenue in those ways.
Well, I think it's, I think for everybody that answer is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm just asking you.
Yeah, but I think for me, it was, so I've always had a fascination for how can I make money grow, and it isn't dump it into a saving account and just hope that, over time you're going to have more money in there, because people overlook things like inflation. And anyways, we won't get into the weeds of what happens to your money over time. So for me, I got into, I started learning about investing. Like that was a big one for me. And the more I learned about this world, the more I realized like, oh, there's numbers, there's patterns, all stuff that like my analytical brain enjoys. And so as I learned this stuff, I picked up on things that work, other things that don't work. And so I started to put that skill to the test and started by little bit, more and more. And I found myself like, oh, wow, like I'm actually able to invest and make $1 turn into $2 and $2 turn into $4 and compound interest and all of that stuff. And like that's an exciting world for me. Right. But even on some other skills, like coaching was another thing that I'm really passionate about. And like, I remember, now this is going back a few years, but like during the pandemic, I had an opportunity where I had hours, I had time, and I was like, you know what, I want to do coaching. And so that's what I did. And I remember I built an entire business around, just this idea of, hey, maybe I'd like to do this, but it was leveraging a skill that I had. And so this is an invitation really to everyone is, sit with yourself, even write it down. Like, these are the things that I'm good at, or even these are the things that I'm passionate about. And then, see if there are ways. And I mean, this is the beautiful thing about the world that we live in. Like, there is a plethora of information available to us. So it's like, just search, you know what I mean? Like, if you like something, just search it. And like the internet will give you hundreds of ideas of how you can take that skill and turn it into something that actually makes money, So.
We lost our mics there for a second, but whatever.
Yeah, all good.
We'll get it better and better.
We'll cut it.
Yeah, I am not fully coherent on where we were, but I know you just said a lot of beautiful things.
I said a lot of beautiful things. I'm not sure if the mic caught it all, but it's okay. It's okay. We could probably
wrap things up.
Yeah, we can wrap it up there. I think it's worth closing and mentioning that we talked about, kind of leaning in and taking action on stuff. And that's one of the cool things that's actually forming in our community is one of our members expressed an interest in, what can we do with, investing, and is there something that we can do together? And we came together as a community. We pulled some funds and you know what I mean? We entered into the investing world together, which is kind of cool. So it's a new thing, but I'm kind of excited about it. And
it really brings a lot up of what's possible. We've already talked about some of this among us and among others, and where this could possibly go as a aligned community with a vision. But I think to even circle back a little further around like what we talked about today and these pieces that it comes down to discipline in a lot of ways, like in this mental health piece and financial health, and that it's like we come back to there are these basic things, and that's what we talk to guys about in each pillar. And that's why it's so good, because we can revisit each pillar over and over again. And I'm working on it, you're working on it. We're at totally different levels financially, but we're both still learning and growing and helping each other in ways. And so it's the discipline to show up and be consistent and take some of these actions. So for some guys, that might just be like actually getting, connected more to your money and tracking it and building a budget or learning how to do that. And for some guys, that might be, like putting some money more into investments or, ventures like that. It's a place that we can meet everyone at, but I love that we're talking about this more. I think it's an important part of men's health and mental health, and I appreciate this conversation and anyone tuning in as well. So
yeah, and it's an invitation to everybody too. Like, our Discord is open. Join it in. We've got a dedicated space for financial discussion, and it's really cool because even with our investing endeavor, like, we have guys there that they don't know about investing, but they wanted to get started. And so they join this group, and there's tons of guys that are further on that journey that are helping out and providing feedback and stuff. And I think that's true with pretty much all the discussions in our financial space. There is, you have guys at different stages, but it's the guys who aren't afraid to ask for help or ask for support or ask the questions. They're the ones reaping the rewards of the others coming and providing them with, the little bits of advice or tidbits that can help them. Right. So I invite everybody that if it's a space that you're looking to discuss, join the Discord. It's the best place to get connected with our community for sure.
Yeah, and that's where we got all our resources, all the things we offer, and where we will post this once we link it up. I'm excited to see how our first live went. I like this setup.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Alrighty.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.